There is a moment in almost every job search when you think, wait, what just happened? You had a good interview. The recruiter told you that you were a strong candidate. You answered the questions, you did everything right, and then somehow you didn't get the job. So you asked why, and the answer is we decided to go in a different direction, or it wasn't quite right culture fit. And you're left trying to figure out what actually happened. I have coached women through this exact situation. And one thing I have learned in this, the job search is not necessarily unfair because recruiters are lying to you. It's unfair because they often have information that you don't. And if you don't know what information they are holding, you are making decisions with half of the information. So let me show you 5 things recruiters often won't tell you. Number 1, they usually know the salary range before they ask you yours. Think about this moment. You are on a recruiter call. Everything is going well. Then comes the question, what are your salary expectations? It sounds like they are trying to understand what you are looking for. But in many organizations, the recruiter has already had the conversation with the line manager. They know the budget, they know the salary range, they know what the company is prepared to pay. And yet, you are being asked to name your number first. So, if you walk into that conversation without knowing your market value, you can accidentally set your own ceiling. I've seen this happen with women who were extremely qualified for the role. They weren't asking for too much. They were simply asking for less than they were worth. So don't wait until the recruiter asks. Research your market beforehand. Know your range, know your minimum, and know the number that represents where you actually want to land. Don't let their question become the moment you discover your value. Number 2, you are a top candidate. Doesn't mean you are getting the job. This one is particularly dangerous because it feels good. The recruiter calls and says, you are one of our strongest candidates. You get excited. You think, maybe this is it. And then something happens. You stop applying for other jobs. You wait. You start mentally moving into the new role before you even have an offer. But here's the problem. You might genuinely be the top candidate, and they might still be interviewing 5 other people. Both things can be true. You are a strong candidate is not the same thing as we have decided to hire you. Until you have a signed offer, your job search is still active. So keep interviewing, keep networking, keep applying. Warm words aren't a commitment. An offer is. Number 3, sometimes the reason a role is open is the part nobody tells you. A job advertisement tells you what the company wants from you. It doesn't necessarily tell you why the position exists. Maybe the team is growing. Great. But maybe the previous person left. And maybe the person before them left too. Maybe the manager has a reputation for being difficult. Maybe the team has been through 3 reorganizations. Maybe people have been leaving because there is no career progression. You won't necessarily find that information in a job description. And I've seen brilliant women get excited about a role, get the job, and only then discover that the environment was working against them from day one. So ask, not why this position is available. Ask what happened to the person who previously held this role. Ask, how long did they stay? Ask, what does retention look like on this team? And pay attention to how the answer is delivered. A long pause, a very polished answer, an answer that doesn't actually answer your question, that's information too. Number 4, what's the culture like? This is always get you a safe answer. Imagine you are interviewing for a job. You ask, what's the culture like? What do you think they are going to say? It's toxic, nobody gets promoted, or raises have been frozen for 3 years. We are expecting another restructure? Of course not. You are going to hear the version that is safe to say out loud. So don't ask questions that invite the rehearsed answer. Ask questions that require evidence. Instead of how does career development work here, try, can you give me an example of a woman on this team who has progressed in the last 2 years? What did the progression look like? Now, they have to give you an example, a real example. And the answer tells you much more than a paragraph about their inclusive culture. This is one of the biggest changes I want women to make in their job search. Stop collecting promises. Start collecting evidence. And number 5, culture fit, may tell you almost nothing. This is probably the phrase that frustrates candidates the most. You don't get the job, you ask for feedback, and you hear, we decided to go in a different direction. Or, we didn't feel it was the right culture fit. And you start replaying the interview in your head. What did I say? Did I talk too much? Was my answer wrong? Did they dislike me? Was I not confident enough? And sometimes, yes, there genuinely was a mismatch. But culture fit can also be a very convenient phrase when someone doesn't want to or isn't able to give you a more specific explanation. Companies can be cautious about giving detailed rejection feedback. And sometimes what gets labeled as fit can be difficult to separate from subjective judgment or bias. The problem is you may never know which one it was. And I don't want you spending weeks trying to decode 3 words from a rejection email, because that's not where your power is. Your power is in understanding the pattern. Here's the pattern. At almost every stage of the hiring process, the company may know something you don't. They may know the salary range. They may know how many candidates they are interviewing. They may know why the role is actually open. They may know what the internal culture is really like. And they may know why they rejected you. You don't have access to all of that information. So, Stop assuming that you are supposed to. Instead, get better at asking for the information you can get. Ask about salary range, ask about turnover, ask about progression, ask about the team, ask about the hiring timeline, and keep your option open until you have something concrete. None of this means the entire hiring process is rigid. And I'm not telling you to become cynical. I'm telling you to become strategic. Because I have seen women change their entire job search once they stopped trying to decode the process and started learning how to navigate it. If you've ever walked away from a job interview thinking something about that process didn't make sense, you probably weren't imagining it. There are patterns behind these moments, and patterns can be prepared for. If you want help navigating your own job search or career strategy, I offer free 20 minutes discovery calls. No pressure, just a real conversation. The link is in description. And if this was useful, subscribe. Next week, I'm going to show you exactly what to say when a recruiter asks, "What are your salary expectations?" Because the wrong answer can cost you before the negotiation even starts. See you next week.